Hello everyone. Hi, here we go. It's CraftAlong, that happy Saturday afternoon where we go live and work with a theme of products that I've chosen for the month. This month we're doing diorama cards and I'm so excited to have you guys with me. We have a great group of girls already here and chatting. I saw you guys were in here a little bit before I arrived, but I could see the chat going on, so I can kind of keep an eye on you even while I'm not, while I'm still, pottering around and finalising what's going to be on my desk and all that kind of stuff. So how is everyone? It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here. It's pretty warm. I think it's 30. Well, last time I looked it was 31. I'm not sure what it is right now, but it's pretty warm. So it is January. We do expect it to be warm. It's summer. I have a small orange cat who is terrified of storms, and it is storm season. So all this warm weather has been leading up to some thunder and lightning in the evenings, and Crumpet does not like it. It's very upsetting for him. He's terrified of storms. Merlot, the other cat, doesn't care, but this little guy does. He's actually in the light box right next to me here at the moment, but if there's even a little bit of a hint of rumbling of thunder on its way, he'll be off to find somewhere to hide. So poor little guy. And I know some of you guys have got animals. Sometimes it's dogs that hate storms, sometimes it's cats, who knows. But I think we have a good group of people. I'm just going to chat for a couple of minutes before we start, only because I'm kind of waiting for a few more people to join us. I see we've got some team members here today. Welcome, girls. Our team, or my team of demonstrators, is called the Insomniacs. That goes back to a time in my life when I named the team way back in about, gosh, when would that have been? Probably in about 2007. Or 2008 at the latest. At that point, I wasn't getting a lot of sleep, and insomnia sounded like an appropriate name at the time. These days, I think I get more sleep than I used to. Thank goodness. There we go. All right, just going to look. If anyone has any questions they need to ask today, please keep an eye out for questions. The problem is I get involved in what I'm doing, what I'm crafting on the desk, and I don't always, sometimes I miss either your comments or your questions. So don't be afraid to ask more than once if it's something you really need an answer to, or send me a message, or I'll go through all the comments when this is over and answer any outstanding questions if you don't mind waiting for them. Hello. I see we got a great group of girls here. Fabulous. And I shouldn't say great group of girls in case there's any guys. I haven't seen any men's names yet, but I could have missed somebody. So we do have a few male crafters that log in to my lives from time to time. So if that's you, welcome. Please don't think it's only for girls. We take everyone. We are very happy with people, whether they're female, male, old, young, working, not working, whatever it might be, whatever your situation is, there's a place in papercraft for everyone. So welcome. Okay, so we are doing diorama cards this month, and I do have some cards I need to show you. The card that we're going to do today, and you might have, so I've already sent out the supply packs this month for those of you who ordered last month. So if you're in Australia and you place an order with me 1 month and it's over $60, you then qualify to get the supply pack for the following month when I do the craft along in the following month. So people who ordered in December got their supply packs earlier this week, should have been this week, to make the project today. Okay, now if you don't have the project today, don't worry. I will be including measurements as part of what we're doing. And depending on how handy you are with the trimmer, you might be able to do that, or you might prefer to just watch and then play the replay later and pause it whenever you need to do some cutting or something like that. So so there we are. There's a few ways that you can do this. Some people like to watch and some people like to craft. So which one are you guys? Answer me in the comments. Let me know. Do you like to watch and craft along, or do you like to watch and maybe craft later? Just watch for the first one when it's live and craft along with the replay. Which one do you think? Jean's here. Who else have we got? Nicole in WA. No, I didn't find my glasses, which is why I'm wearing these and struggling to see, because they're an old prescription. So this is, I have a little bit of a headache from wearing these, so that's not good, but you make the best of what you have. And my eye appointment isn't until the 7th of February, so I'm just going to have to manage until then. And then, you know, I guess if I make any mistakes on my cards, I won't be able to see them, so I'll think I'm making amazing cards and I just won't be able to tell if they've got mistakes or anything else. So there we go. So Jody says you like to make it later, you watch, and Donna does too, watch and craft later. Katrina says the same. So most people seem to be saying that, watch and craft later, watch then craft. Okay, so, well, that makes it nice and relaxing if we just take our time and do the bits. But if you are wanting to craft along, I did put up a full list of all the supplies you would need on my blog, and I'm going to pop that up as a banner on the bottom. And there it is. It's www.lhiggins.blogspot.com. Okay, if you go there, there is a full list of all the supplies needed for the cards today. Now, there are actually 2 colorways for today's project. So I'm going to switch over. Let me bring the camera in and turn my light on so that we get a better light. All right, and let's switch over to the desk and see how we go. There we go. How's that? Everyone see that okay? All right. So I've got 2 projects that I'm going to show you. Well, I'm going to show you one. This is actually the card that we're making today. It's what I like to call a box diorama, which is one of the easiest types of dioramas. When I first got into dioramas many years ago, and I've done a few over the years, if you go into my YouTube channel and search the popular items, there's a playlist called Popular Items. There are several versions of diorama cards in there. Okay, I have refined it a bit over the years. I did one earlier last year, which was this one, same design. This is exactly the same measurements and everything as this, although I've used obviously different papers. I've got a little bear here. This is the Happier Than Happy is the name of the stamp set, and I think the paper is Happy Forest. I think that's what it is. One or the other. I've got one's the stamps and one's the paper, but you know, it's got the little piece at the back. The whole point of a diorama card classifies as a diorama to me if it kind of invites you in. So there's something going on at the back of our card. It's dimensional and it invites you to take a closer look through the frame that you create. That to me is a diorama card. Cards that invite you in to see more. So if you remember that, there are various styles of diorama cards, and I'm going to show you some different ones today, because if you did make that purchase last month and got the supply pack, you're also going to receive the additional alternate videos to make the other cards in this series. Now, there are 4 extra videos today. Sometimes I do 5. The reason that I do that number 5 is usually fairly right if it's a technique or something like that. But for something like this, it's a bit meatier and they're longer videos than they are when I just do a technique. I'm doing 4, and I hope that you'll really enjoy them. There's some shadow box cards. There's a different style of box diorama card, a portrait one instead of a landscape one. I will show them to you, don't worry, more towards the end of this video. And then there's also a pop-up diorama card. So I'm gonna take you through those, but first of all, we're going to do this one. So for those of you who got the supplies, this is what you're going to have. Now you'll see straight away that I've got the other colorway here. I wanted to, seeing as I had my sample made up, this color is Starry Sky, which is the beautiful dark blue that we have in the in colors. It's this lovely, it's on its way to purple, but it's a very dark blue, and that's the color here we have. Okay, and then the color of the inside piece here is Highland Heather. And I'm inspired to do these colors today. I am inspired by this paper, which is called Enjoy the Journey, and it's in our, and actually doesn't it match our catalog nicely? So we've got the same colors. So it's page 59. It's called Enjoy the Journey. The paper is here. It's absolutely beautiful. There is also a matching stamp set and die set, some twine and some little enamel stickers, which these are gorgeous. So I love them all. But the paper is to die for. It's absolutely beautiful. So I wanted to do something with it. This kind of paper with a scenery, you can see they've got all these different scenes and things going on here. It lends itself really well to a diorama card because it's inviting you into the scene that's at the back of the card. But I love all their samples. I actually think they're really nice. Some of you will remember we did a card really similar to this one a few weeks ago on our live videos. So for anyone who doesn't know, I go live every Friday night and Sunday night. That's Sydney time. So that's that'll be different depending on where in the world you might be. But I do go live twice a week there. And then I do this CraftAlong session once a month. And it usually goes for about an hour or so. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the paper before we start because I want to show it to you. So these mountains here, this is what is at the back. Can you see the mountains there? The back of my card. And you might notice there's some little birdies on there as well. Those are from the stamp set that matches. Actually, no, it's not. Those are from the On the Ocean set, which is here. See these little birdies? I love any set with birds. Birds, birds, birds all the way. They're fantastic because they just add something straight away. So I use those birdies at the back of my scene. So you can see this is actually, this piece has, this half is the Starry Sky and Highland Heather mountains, and this one is Coastal Cabana and Garden Green. So that's why some of you have got the set that uses these pieces, these colors, and some of you have got the set that uses these colors. So I didn't, when I was putting, I didn't look at who I was putting them into. I just put them into whichever, so I'm not sure who got what. If you got a particular colorway, you know, what do we say to the kids? You get what you get and you don't get upset. That's what we say. Let me get rid of the banner. There we go. I'm going to go back to the comments in case I'm missing anything. You watch and craft later, Janine? Yeah, I understand. I think different people do different things. It's whatever works. Yeah, Marion, I know exactly what you mean. It's not always successful, and sometimes you just want to relax and watch. You know, maybe with a glass of something cool and refreshing in your hand on a nice warm day like this, or if you're in a cold area, maybe you're having a nice hot chocolate or other warm beverage. But you know, whatever works. All right, we just want to make this enjoyable. So this is the reason, because this paper features half of the purples and half of the greens. That is why some of you have got one colorway and some of you have the other. The back of this paper, it's a really interesting paper, actually. I really like this little geometric design on the back. It's a little bit Aztec-y. And let's have a look and see what else is in here. I did a card with this paper a few nights ago, a week or so ago on one of my lives, and it turned out really fun. And little stripy bits on the back there. And what else have we got in here? We've got this beautiful, we've got these lovely clouds. Now this is really interesting, this paper. It looks like kind of clouds and maybe some windy sky up the top there. I'm not really sure, but I really like it. And I'm thinking that would be real. You could use this for a diorama too. It'd be rather fun. Maybe a portrait diorama, maybe. And then we've got some Mango Melody, I believe that is. Is that the color that's in that? Let's have a quick look. On page 59, it should tell us. Have a quick look. Oh no, it says pumpkin pie on here, but that's not, doesn't seem dark enough to be pumpkin pie. I'm wondering if there's a little blurb on the back here that might have some extra colors. Yeah, it is, yeah, Mango Melody, isn't it? So that's the color I think it is, Mango Melody. Because it's not dark, not orange enough to be pumpkin pie. Then this one, I mean, you can use these in your dioramas too. Obviously, these scenes all work really well. I like the one with the moon in it. Super lovely. And then on this one, we are using this one. This one's in your pack. Some of you have got the green, some of you have got the purple. On the backs of this is some polished pink and melon mambo. What else have we got? I'm getting down towards the bottom. On the back of this one is some lovely starry sky. You can do a lot with this and have a really beautiful starry background happening behind something there. And then look at these, aren't they beautiful? They're like sunsets. This paper is absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I don't even know. In the catalogue, you just don't see how lovely it is. And when you open it up, you go, oh, wow, it's gorgeous. So believe it or not, I have one pack I haven't opened. I've opened 3 out of my 4 packs, and I've got one unopened pack, which I may use for a class coming up. But I just love this paper. Isn't it lovely? Oh, marshmallows. Yum, Jody. Yeah, hot chocolate does sound good, doesn't it? Exactly. We say you get what you get and you don't get upset. That's what we say. All right, so we've got that paper. I'm going to open up my bits and pieces here. Now we have two pieces. Now I have already, if you're getting the supply pack, I have already cut these for you, cut all the labels and everything. And I'm actually going to show you how I got this to sit right. You can see that we have a smaller rectangle here in the Coastal Cabana piece, or Highland Heather, if that's the color you have, the purple. And this one is the Garden Green, all right? And when you put them together, they line up together perfectly, all right? Now, how did I do that? I'm going to show you, and I'm going to actually cut up some of these from scratch so you can actually see, if you were doing it with all your own pieces at home, exactly how you would do that. So I've got one piece. Okay, this is 7.5 inches. I'm going with inches. It's just easier for this type of box, for this kind of card. 7.5 inches by, this is, I've got to remember, 5.5. Let me have a quick look. I'm looking at my sheet because I do have this all written down. Yeah, 5.5. Hang on a second. No, give me 1 second. I'm going back to my typed notes, which are on my laptop, because that's going to give me the right measurements. I've already written them out. Okay. All right. So it's 7.5 by 4.25. That's what it is. All right. So this is 4.25, so it'll fit into a standard size envelope by 7.5. Right. Did everyone get that okay? And this will be in the measurements document that comes out with these. Okay. So for anyone who's getting the videos, whether you're purchasing them or whether you're getting them for free because you ordered last month, or you're in the team, you get one as well. You get them as well if you're in the team. You don't have to purchase them. So if you're in my team, please do not purchase these videos, okay, because you get those for free. So 7.5, and we're going to cut 2 of those identical, and then afterwards we're going to put the rectangle in. Okay, and I'm using the stitched rectangles for this. Now, you can use any nested dies you might have. You don't have to use rectangles, even though I'm using rectangles today. You could use ovals, you could use the layering diorama dies, you could use you could even use circles. You could use any shape that allows you to see, that's nested. So you've got a bigger one on the outside and then a smaller one on the inside. The scalloped contours dies, you can use those because they're a nested die. So yeah, anything that I know a lot of you will already have these kinds of dies. I'm actually going to grab some Garden Green cardstock, and I'm going to show you how to do this from scratch. So I'm going to use one piece. You will get the front and the back from one piece. Now, if you wanted to, like I said, this goes at 4.25. Okay, that's a little bit more than halfway. So in Australia, we use A4 cardstock. So you would make this 10.5 if you wanted to use the length. But remember, we said it's 7.5 long, so we can actually go this way. So you're still going to get. I'm going to cut that to the 7.5 mark, and then I'm going to go 4.25 here. And a second one. So the reason I'm doing this again, because I want to show you how, even though those of you with supply packs have already got them, I want to show you how you do this if you don't have the supply packs. I'm going to put this into my trimmer, or you can use a simply scored tool, and I'm going to move my cutting blade out of the way so I'm not tempted to use it, because I don't want to cut. I want to score 1 inch from the end. I'm going to turn it around at 180 degrees and score it at 1 inch from the other end. All right, so that's my first panel. I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the second one, which is exactly the same size. 1 inch from that end, turn around and go 1 inch from the other end. All right. Now the in-between piece is Coastal Cabana. It's going to be the same width of paper. And I'm going to do that 4 1/4 first. So I've got plenty of. And this one though is shorter. Okay, so these two are 7 1/2. This one is 6 1/2. It's an inch shorter across. Right, this is going to be my centerpiece. This one, instead of scoring at 1 inch from each end, I score at 1/2 inch from each end. Whoop, let's get that cutting blade out of the way. Done that more times than I care to admit. And so we've got this one scored 1/2 inch from each end, and these two 1 inch from each end. How are we doing? Is everyone following along? So if you are wanting to craft with me, all right, let's move this out of the way. So I'm going to give you the basic idea. I'm going to be using the stitched rectangle dies, which are absolutely fabulous dies if you're wanting to, here they are, if you're wanting to do this kind of thing. But like I said, any nested dies will do. All right, so the size that I want is going to give me around about 1 inch on each side inside the score lines there, which gives me a little bit of an area to work with. All right, so it's actually this one, and I'll tell you how much that is. Let me just measure it for you in case you're wondering. This one is about 2 3/4 wide and around about 4 long. Okay, that's the measurement of that one. And then the next one down, the smaller one that's going to be used to cut the centerpiece, is the smaller size. So that is about 2 and, oh, what's that? A little over 2 1/4. So about 2 and, oh, is it 2 3/8 roughly? And this length is 3 5/8. Okay, so roughly. You don't need to worry, but when you put them together, there's a little bit of space in between them. Can you see that? Just a little bit of space. All right, so that's the size of the rectangles that I've used. But that's not so important. You can use any size that you think would work well. All right. Now, before we cut our rectangle, we need to prepare. So one piece is going to go at the back and one piece is going to go at the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab my 2 DSP pieces. Now you can see one here, I've already put a hole in it, but I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to go back to my paper and I'm going to show you how I would do this. So I'm going to need one of these and one of these. So we know this is 4 1/4 wide. These green pieces are 4 1/4 wide. All the pieces are. So I'm going to get my trimmer in. If you've got the supply pack, you do not need to do this. And we're going to cut this at 4. I'm just checking myself as I go, making sure I am correct. Yep. So this is going to be at 4. It's going to fit a little bit inside. And the width of this is going to be 5 1/4. All right, so 5 1/4, like that. And I'm going to do the same with the other piece that I have here. 4. And 5 1/4. So all these measurements are in your document. That'll come out with this for everyone who's ordering that. All right, so this piece, just say this is my back piece. This is going to end up in between. So I've got my score lines here and I'm just putting this right there at the back. In fact, let's glue it down right now. Actually, I'm just going to show you how to do the front bit and we'll come back to that. All right, so This is the piece I've just cut out. This is going to be the front piece. So this one is going to end up right there in the front. And I am going to grab some Tombow, or you can use whatever. I've got this Tombow's almost empty. I'm being really cheap and running it right down to its last amount. So you have to give it a good old tap to get the glue out. All right. So I'm going to put this right here, centered on this panel. All right, happy with that. This piece doesn't need to have anything on it, okay, but I'll come back to that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss machine. I'm actually going to scroll out a little bit. You can see a bit of my messy desk now, but that's okay. It's a work in progress. I keep telling people tell me that messy desks means a creative mind, and I just keep saying, well, I must be really creative because I'm really messy. All right. So what I've got here, I'm going to put this. I hope everyone can see this okay. I'm going to put that and put that so it's not behind the banner right there, and I'm going to use the larger of my two rectangles. And I'm going to put that right there in the center. I want to try and I'm going to stand up so I can make sure it's, yeah, that actually looks pretty good. And then I'm going to put my other plate on top, and I'm going to go through both the DSP layer and the cardstock layer. And because I've got two layers there, I'm actually going to go backwards and forwards. I just want to make sure I get a really good cut. All right. Now here's the little magic trick that I am going to show you for this. I've had people say, how do you measure it so that so everything lines up? I don't measure. I'm not a measury sort of person. Very rarely do I get my tape measure out on my ruler and measure things. But I'm going to show you how this is going to work. So this is the one I now need to cut, and I want it cut so that it's lined up with this so the frame makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold on this score line. Okay, and then I'm going to fold on this score line. So I'm folding on the two score lines, the 1 inch score line on the green and the 1/2 inch on the Coastal Cabana. Okay, and then I'm going to put them together so that those score lines match up. So you can feel it that they're together. Right, let me see if I can, so they're together. Can you see that? All right, so now I'm going to put this down so they're in that place on my, let me see, did I do that right? Yeah, I did do it right. Okay, and then I'm going to put my small one in the center here and line this up so it's right there in the middle. And this is how I get a perfect alignment. All right, so when I'm happy that I've got that right there in the middle, I then take off my green piece. That's correct. And then we roll that through without moving it, of course. And if you're worried about, you don't really need to bring it back again, but I'm just doing it out of a habit more than anything. All right, so that is how I align my diorama frames, so one is inside the other. Okay, now the pieces that you have, if you've got the supply pack, these have already been cut for you. So I did this to each of the ones that I sent out, and all you have to do is put them together. So it makes it actually really easy, but I wanted to show you how I did it because sometimes people ask me, does that make sense? Yeah, I want this paper now. I love this paper, Chris. It's lovely. All right, so now we're going to very carefully pop this out. Just sort of make it so it's, and when you put this together, okay, so we've got the back piece. And where is it? Is this the piece? This will do anyway. This piece is going to go in the middle here on the back. So aligning your frames is not that hard. Don't try and measure it, because actually I find that if you try and measure it, that's when it all goes wrong. You're better off doing it by just placing them inside the other and using the one as a guide for the other. All right, so now this piece is at the back. Okay, before I put all this together, you might notice on my piece I showed you already, we have some birdies here at the back, and I'm using the On the Ocean birdies because I really like them. And for these, I would probably do these in either black or navy. You need a really dark color. So I am actually going to use black on these. Let's go with that. And there's no point in putting them way off on the side here. You won't see them, so you want them to be kind of front and center. So they're right about there. Some birdies. All right. So now that that is there, okay, you might notice that we have some little black bits. Now I have included these in your pack. How much of these you want to have is totally up to you. So it was totally a it's your choice kind of thing. You don't even have to have them if you don't want them, but I actually attached one on the inside of the lower frame and then one on the back side of the outer frame, and I embossed in white I embossed my greeting, which is also from the same stamp set, the Enjoy the Greatest Journey set. See this one, we're in this together. I used that one there, but I have also given you in your packs one of these, and today I'm not going to be embossing. I'm going to be just putting it on the little label and attaching it to the outside. So you've got a whole bunch of different choices when it comes to adding a sentiment. You could do the white embossing if you choose on the kind of this mountain that we're going to add in there. I've got some little trees here. There's trees, there's kind of rock formations, and then there's also this little guy. So first of all, let's do now that we've got this shape, and everyone who has the supply pack already has it like this, you will also have in your little packs, if you have the green packs, you're going to have a gold frame. Okay, if you have the purple packs, you're going to have a fresh freesia frame. So they're both really lovely, and when you put this down, you'll see it perfectly fits onto this frame, okay, which is really, really nice. Okay, how did I make that? Really, really easy. I put the larger frame. You can either do them separate or you can do them together. So I put this on, like I've got, for example, let me show you. Move these out of the way for a second. Let's bring this in again. And I've got some gold paper here because it is beautiful. Have you seen how gorgeous this shimmer paper is? I absolutely love it. It's so smooth and beautiful, and it comes in gold, soft succulent, and fresh freesia in the pack. Absolutely beautiful. It's in the mini, and look out for it. It's on the same page as the fancy Flora stuff. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can do the outside frame first and roll that through, and then come back in and put the inside frame, or you can line them both up together. But that takes a little bit more moving around, but it's doable. So what you want to have is the same amount of gap all the way around, like that. That's looking pretty good actually. And then we put that through, very carefully line that up and pop it through. But if you find that that's a bit tricky, then do them one at a time. Do the outside one first and then cut the inside frame out of that larger rectangle. So either way you can do that. All right, so let's quickly pull that off so you can see how nice it is. And it should be, if you've already got a frame in your pack, then you don't have to worry about this. But for those of you who are doing it at home, you may wish to make a frame. And it is really nice to have something on that middle layer. So you can see I'm just peeling it off carefully because it does kind of attach itself to the back of the, let's bring this in a little bit again. I don't know that, I'm trying to think, do we need the cut and emboss machine again? I don't think we do. So I could be wrong, but I don't think so. All right, so then I've got also this center piece, which I'm going to keep that and use it on another card because that's a really pretty little gold rectangle. but I now have this beautiful rectangular frame, which is going to fit on my Coastal Gabbana piece. So go ahead and layer that on. So you're going to pop that right on there. I find the easiest way to do that is probably just with a little squeeze of Tombow all the way around, and you want to do it with your thin end. This might be the end of it. Is it the end of my Tombow? And I do have more, so don't worry. Oh, no, here comes a bit more. Tell you what, I'm going to get the very end out of it if I possibly can. There we go. All right, so that then attaches straight to this. It is, of course, exactly the same size because it's using the same dies to cut it out. And there we go. That piece is going to go right there. Okay, so we're getting close to putting this whole thing together now. I am going to give you, for those of you who don't have this paper, I'm going to give you an alternative. You can use, of course, any DSP you would like, but I want to show you another way that you could also do this. All right, so I'm going to, now, important, use a bone folder to fold down the score lines. Okay, when you're doing something like this, you want to have the sturdiest construction you can have, and you're going to get that by using a bone folder over your scores. So I'm going to be doing this one. Now this one is going to go up. This is the one at the back. And use our bone folder again. All right. Now you should be able to see pretty quickly how this is going to come together. Okay, this is going to come together like this. This piece here, we're going to use these score lines. And it's like this piece kind of hugs the others. It holds it all together. All right, so this one goes down over the top, and then you start to see how this is coming together really beautifully. Okay. Hey, Cherie, nice to see you. I know it has the glitter cardstock is absolutely beautiful. This is really beautiful. And you know how the old stuff sometimes used to feel like sandpaper once upon a time? This is beautiful and smooth. It's lovely. All right, so if I was just going to put it together like that, and it would still be really beautiful, I could call that done. But I want to do a couple of things before I put it all together. In this pack here, we have some bits of grass. You can use these if you would like. I've got some garden green ink here, and let's pull out that grass. You can do all sorts of things with the sides. You can put some trees here. You could do stamping. You could put die cuts here. So, for example, in the other one that I showed you with the bear and the fox, I put the bear on the outside. It's the same measurements as the one we're doing now, but because I use circles instead of rectangles, it looks very different. And I put the bear on the outside. I put the fox on that centerpiece. I have got a frame, the distressed gold for the frame, and then the little fox sort of poking out here, and then I added some little mushrooms down the bottom here as well. So this paper, once again, lent itself quite well to a diorama style card. All right, let's grab the grass from here. On the purple diorama that I showed you already, you see I added some grass to that there. The thing is, you might notice, I'm not sure if Jodie's watching. Jodie, you were watching, but if you still are, you don't need much bling on this. You could add bling if you wanted to, but you don't need much. I'm just going to add a little bit of grass down the bottom, just because it looks nice. All right, so just those couple of little bits there. And where would you write on this card? Now, there is a piece in your packs. I have given you an extra piece of white, and that piece of white, where is it? It's under here somewhere. That piece of white is to go on the back of the card if you want to write a greeting on the back, okay? Because there's really nowhere else to write. So that's kind of how you would go about that. So that's what that extra piece of white that I put in your packs is for, okay? All right. So this piece doesn't need anything unless you want to add some of these. All right, so I have already got some trees appearing here, and I'm thinking maybe these might be better put on the inside of this side because there's no trees showing there. So I'm actually going to put these across the bottom here, and I'm actually going to adhere it. Now you could put dimensionals behind it and have it so it sort of goes back a little bit further, or you can just use Tombow right around the corner here or whatever glue you have. If you don't have Tombow, any glue will work fine. I tell you what, it's getting low. All right, and then we're just going to pop that right there like that. All right, so now we've got some, like a little tree silhouette thing going on there. That looks rather good, doesn't it? And then the top one, okay, this is where I can have my, so I'm doing mine the opposite way of the one that I showed you before. So this one, the rock piece is here on the right hand side. Today I'm doing it on the left, but you can have it, oops, and I just realized I'm upside down as well, so that's not good. Right, so before I put this piece on, I'm going to have this right here, and how much of that you want to have showing is completely up to you, because if you have a label like the one I've given you, the little white label to put a greeting on, then it doesn't really matter. You can have the rocks appearing anywhere in there, and we can just have this going over the edge. So let's do that. Let's put some Tombow along here and up the side here a little. And let's, there we go. So that's going to sit right there like that. Can you see where I put that inside? All right, so let's put it together before we add our label. The first thing I'm going to do is these two channels here, the 1/2 inch panels, I'm going to put some glue on those, but this time I'm going to be using tape. I have different adhesives I like better for certain things. For constructing a box or a 3D item like this, I prefer to use tape because it's nice and straight, and you can use it on your panels just like this, and it's going to completely do that, and it's good strong adhesive too. So I'm going to take the back off it, take it off with my fingernail, or if your fingernail's not working as it should, we've got a pokey tool on the end of our take your pick tool, and we could stick that under there, and immediately that works much easier. And then here, this side goes really close to that score line. That's about 1 millimeter up to the score line, about really close. All right, so I'm going to do one side at a time. I've got this here, and I'm going to put this so that it is just inside the score line at the back of the garden green piece. All right, so that piece is like, can you see where it's stuck there? All right, I've just stuck it. So this piece is higher, but it's stuck inside there. And then I'm going to put some more tape along here and put that piece to the other side here. So let's do that. This is, I do have a love affair with dioramas. Like I said, I've been doing them for years. If you are interested, you can go back and have a look. I've done a number of Christmas dioramas in the past, which you might really enjoy. All right, so now I'm going to hold this flat. So when this is lying out, it goes just up to that score line, about 1 millimeter away. And so all I've got to do is fold this piece over. All right, and now this piece is in there and it's not going anywhere. It's all glued in, and these two little flaps are lying out the front there. And that's when this piece here is now going to hug around the other two, okay, and you'll see how it looks from the top. Okay, so this is how it's coming together. So let's put some tape. Once again, I'm going to use 2 rows of tape. One on the cut edge here, and one on the close to the folded edge. All right, so that makes sense what I'm doing. I'm going to peel the backs off. Right, now this piece is going to go right into that corner. Has everyone been enjoying celebration this month? I've absolutely loving the projects and the different bits and pieces we have on offer. I think it's fantastic. If you don't have a demonstrator and you're in Australia, I would love to be that person that you could get your paper crafting items from. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel here so that you'll see when we're going live and see when we're doing fun things. And like I said, I go live at least twice a week, and then sometimes these extra kind of things as well. Let's see. Let's pull these off. So hopefully this is making sense now. Part of the reason I didn't do more than 4 items in this month's alternate ideas. There we go. Look at that. See, now it's sits up nice and straight, and it's looking really, really pretty. It does need something here, I feel. So that's where I'm going to come in here with my greeting on my banner. And there's a couple of greetings that I really liked that would look nice on a banner. This one says, this is a nice set. It has beautiful words. This is, I'm so inspired by your courage. Mountains of Thanks is really nice, and I believe that would fit on here. And we're in this together. Let me try Mountains of Thanks, because I haven't done my diorama. The last one I did with, let me see if it will fit. Just need to see if it will. Oh, it does, but only just. And you know what? I'm going to do it. And we'll use Garden Green because that's kind of the main colorway in this. Either Coastal Cabana or Garden Green would work well. Let's see if I can make sure this gets on properly. All right. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that lovely? Isn't that a lovely saying? It's gorgeous. I love that. All right. Let's pop that right down here in this corner. And I'm actually going to pop it on dimensionals because I think that would look rather nice. Oh, you like those kind of fun fold and complex cards. I find a lot of people are really liking that style of card. I sort of go between more fun fold complex cards and techniques, because techniques has always kind of been my thing. I've always really, okay, if you were my dimensionals, where would you be hiding? Because I just had them out like minutes ago. That's all right. Lucky I have a whole new pack. And I'll find them as soon as I finish this video. But that's okay. All right, so let's pop a couple of dimensionals behind here. How are we doing? Is everyone kind of cool with this? Does it all make sense? And everyone, are there any questions that you need answered before you could make this project for yourself? There we go. Now you could add bling to it, but it's the kind of card you don't want to add too much, because you want the main feature of the card to be the beautiful scene that you're seeing through the hole there. Isn't it nice? And it really does look like a little, almost like a little artwork. I do like it. I'm just reading your comments, guys. Oh, you're going to be making all alone. I am sorry. Oh, thanks, Janice. That's really nice of you to say. Oh, that's okay. No trouble. I hope that this all makes sense and you really like it. Let me grab the other projects, because these are what I want to show you, what's in the alternate ideas. And like I said, I've done videos for all of these. Now, I have completed all the videos. They're all uploaded. However, I'm still working on the document with the measurements, and I should have that up. I'm hoping I'll have it up with the next hour or two, and then you'll be able to go onto my blog. I'll put that address on there again. You'll be able to go onto the blog, lhiggins.blogspot.com, and you'll be able to access those if you're wanting to purchase them. Now, if you've already got the supplies, you're going to receive them automatically, and they will turn up in your inbox by tomorrow. Okay, so here we go. This is the order of the things. I did another box diorama card. Okay, you can see I've done a couple actually, but but this box diorama card is using the layering diorama dies. Shows you some tips and ideas for using them. And this is a portrait style diorama. And as you can see, the diorama dies here do not line up. I purposely made them so they didn't, so that it looked like I was looking in maybe through, I don't know, a watery scene, like maybe looking through seaweed or something like that. So this is one of the projects that is going to be in your extras list this month. Okay, and I really liked how it turned out. I love the sea turtle set. Isn't that beautiful sea turtle at the back? Isn't he just beautiful? I love him. Him or her. I'm not sure if it's a girl or a guy. Hard to tell with turtles. And then we also have these guys. This is a little shadow box card. And this one features the adorable owls and the aspen tree dies, and I really liked how it turned out. It's very simple. This is, if you're going to be making these projects, my suggestion would be to start with this one, because this is the easiest of all of them. If you have the aspen tree dies or a similar die that sort of cuts out pieces and allows you to look through, it's perfect for this kind of shadow box. Okay, so so this one is in the class, and I think you'll really like it. And then we have a on the ocean shadow box. Okay, so this is a different kind of shadow box. It's just got a circle. We've added some waves and bits and pieces. It's got some gorgeous DSP from the By the Bay DSP, and I've used the banner here from the Fragrant Flowers dies. Absolutely love this one. I love the sentiment that says, hoping this year is full of adventure and excitement. I just thought that was such a nice thing to give to someone who's launching into something new. I'm going to take my banner off now so that you don't get distracted by that. Some of them do, yes. So Jody, the answer to your question, like for example, this one I'm holding, if you see how the box die, it looks kind of like a box from the top, but if you squeeze these bits in, so sort of concertinas, yes, that will fit into an envelope. It sort of squashes down into an envelope size. And the same with this one. This one does as well. All right. Now, the other ones, this one here does also fit into an envelope, but not a standard envelope. You would need, in Australia, we call them a DL envelope, like one of those long, thin ones, because it goes down one way and flattens down to put in an envelope. But you have to squash it, so it ends up being longer than a standard size card envelope. So you'd need a DL envelope for that. And then the last one I have to show you. So that's 3. Did I show you 1, 2? Did I show you all of them? I think I did. I showed you the owls, and I showed you the turtle. That's right. Yep. And then there's one more. Okay. So this little guy, this is actually a pop-up diorama card, and I have to credit Julie Davison in the US, who came up with the original idea for this, which is fabulous. I've just translated it into these products and given some measurements and so forth for it, and also all the full step-by-step instructions in the videos that you'll also get as part of this. So this uses that beautiful gold shimmer paper again. I'm using the On the Farm stamps and dies and Day at the Farm DSP, which is a free celebration item. So so if you're looking at these right now, I used this, I wanted this to have a country feel. Okay, this one I've used little brass butterflies. This one I used the rustic dots, but I wanted it to have a country rustic-y kind of feel, so I thought the tartan was perfect for that. And then when you open it up, ta-da! It's like a little diorama inside. Isn't that the cutest? Oh, look, a dimensional backing. There we go. And you can see the little trees and cows inside there, and it's a cute little thing, and that's also from the Day at the Farm paper. And then you've got a place here with the white to write your greeting inside the card. So this one is the same. See there, just a little dig. We've got a goose and a cow and some beautiful paper inside, and the instructions for that are also in both the video step by step, and then the measurements are in the measurement document. So there you go. So this is this month. Okay, you have 4 beautiful projects in addition to the one we've done today, so 5 in total. And if anyone's wondering, if you didn't get the supplies and you're not going to get these for free, you can purchase them, and they are 15 Australian dollars for all of it. Okay, so $15 Australian. If you're in the US, that's around about $10 US. If you're in Australia, obviously $15, but it does represent a lot of work, and that's why I'm not quite ready. I should be within the next hour or two. So if you go onto the blog tonight, certainly if you go on there tomorrow, it'll be ready, and you'll be able to click a button to purchase them. So how do we go today? What does everyone think? Do we like these? Oh, thanks, Margaret. That's great. All right. Well, I'm going to bring these two back in so you can, cast your eyes over them one more time. We have the Starry Sky and Highland Heather version, and we have the Garden Green. Oh, one last thing. I didn't tell you. All right. So let me quickly move all these out of the way. I did say for people who don't have the paper, that I would give you an alternative, and I cut a piece of paper in preparation for that. So it might be down here on the ground. Is that the piece? Oh, that'll do anyway. All right, so the piece of paper that's at the back, if you do it in white, and because you don't have the paper, so the measurement for this, let me quickly make sure I have it again. So this is the same. So it is actually going to be this size. 4 1/4. What did I say? 4 1/4. Is that right? And 7 1/2 was the right measurement. So let's do the 7 1/2 one. So I'm just quickly. Actually, I've already. Here it is. I found it. I did do one earlier. Okay, so this is already cut up to be the same size as the piece of Garden Green that I cut earlier. And I have also done 1 inch from each end for scoring. Okay, so this is going to be, so if you wanted to and you don't have the paper, you could get for yourself some blending brushes and do a blended background. Okay, now if those of you who watched the masking class with me a couple of months ago, you could use that same masked background that we did in that card. Which craft along was that? I think it was November. I'll double check and put that in the description so you know for sure. But, I'm just going to give you an idea of how you could manage if you didn't have the paper. All right. And you could, in the masking card, we looked at ripped paper backgrounds and creating mountains with that. Or you could use that lovely, remember the Mountain Air stamp set and Majestic Mountain dies? Okay, and then from the other side, I could come in with a lighter color. If this is obviously if I'm doing the purple, if I was doing the green, I'd go Coastal Cabana and Garden Green. But, I'm sticking with the colors that are in the papers. And here's the Highland Heather. You could also add other colors in if you wanted to. You could do Fresh Freesia and so forth. All right, so you could start doing colors from one end to the other. So I start with a dark color at the bottom, and then I do a lighter color at the top and blend them together, and so on. And then we could create mountains and so forth. Now you can rip the paper to create mountain shows, or you could use the dies from the other sets that we just mentioned, the Majestic Mountain dies, for example. And that would also, when you start putting that in from behind, not with this colorway, but here you go. Let's turn that one over. That looks better. You can start to see that you could really create some beautiful looks. So if you don't have the paper, this gorgeous Enjoy the Journey paper, if you don't have it, you can make do with a white piece and some blending and some other bits and pieces. I'm not going to go into huge detail now because I'm a little bit over time, but I wanted to finish up at 3 almost exactly, and I hope that gives you an idea of what you could do, okay, if you don't have the paper. I always love dioramas too, Anne. I'm just going to scroll up through the comments and see if I've missed any important questions. You are so welcome, guys. I love doing this stuff for you. This is my jam. This is what I love to do. So next month, what are we going to do next month? Well, we had a chat about this on one of my lives just recently, and the girls were asking if we could do vellum techniques. So guess what? Next month's craft along theme will be vellum techniques, and those of you getting supply packs will be getting supply packs with lots of vellum and bits and pieces to make a beautiful project. So there are tons and tons of things you can do with vellum. Let me turn off my light here And I'm going to switch back over to me. There we go. Oh, let's move that out of the way because I'm using the audio for my phone, but I'm not using the camera now. All right, so yeah, Vellum Techniques is next month's CraftAlong, and it will be towards the end. It'll be the last Saturday in February. I just need to confirm that. That will definitely be going up over the next little while, and you'll see all of that happening. So Vellum Techniques it is. That's what people were after. So it will be a good thing because I love vellum. I like to focus on classes of things that I particularly love, because if I love them, it's easy to get excited about them. If I get excited about them, then you guys do too. So that's just how it works, right? It will be fun. Vellum and acetate. Ooh, I don't know, Marie. That's an interesting thought. We do have some beautiful new vellum, and I'm probably going to use it. It's in our new mini catalogue, and it is on page. Let me just find it for you, for anyone who has missed it, because the first time I went through this catalogue, I missed it. The vellum is on page 46. So if you look, and it's down right down the bottom, half off the page. So it's actually real, you know, this right down, and you can't even see it. Look, you can't even see. That looks like nothing. I tell you what, I bought it and it's beautiful. So we will definitely be playing with that in our class at some point. So that's next month, okay? Something to look forward to. All right, guys. I think that we covered everything I wanted to cover today. Don't forget, it's not too late to get in on the vellum class. If you want the supply pack, you just need to place an order over $60 before the 31st of January. And those will be coming out mid next month, before the CraftAlong, of course. All right. Any other questions? Oh, thanks, Cherie. Thumbs up are always good. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do that. That would be awesome. Or if you're on Facebook, hit the like button. Hit the follow button. That'd be awesome. That's how I grow my community, and I love being here live with you. So have a fantastic weekend, guys. I'm going to sit down now and finish trying to put this measurement document together for you, so that it's going to be available for you to grab hold of in the next couple of hours. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me. It was lovely to see you all. Have a great weekend. Bye.